And welcome to all of viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Circle on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ubong Usoro. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. President Bola Tinubu has urged West African leaders to push for designation of resource theft, illegal mining, and mineral smuggling as international crimes, saying such acts have become grave threats to regional peace, stability, and development. Tinubu, represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, met the call in Abuja while declaring open the annual general meeting of the network of national anti-corruption institutions in West Africa. He said the proceeds of such thefts not only deprive citizens of development benefits, but also fund insecurity, proliferation of small arms and light weapons, banditry, kidnapping across the region. President Bola Tinubu has formally written to the Senate seeking the confirmation of Professor George Amopitan as the new chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission. The request was read on the floor of the Senate by President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, during the plenary. Akpabio also read other communications from the President regarding appointments that require legislative approval. The House of Representatives have announced plans to wade into the ongoing dispute between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities in a bid to end the 2-week warning strike declared by the union. This plan followed a motion moved by lawmaker Sisi Wenga, said the intervention of the Green Chamber's leadership is aimed at finding a permanent resolution to the lingering industrial crisis that had crippled Nigeria's public university system for years. Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has reaffirmed its commitment to credible and inclusive elections as it meets with leaders of registered political parties in Abuja. The meeting, the third in the Commission's quarterly series for the year, focused on ongoing preparations for upcoming polls and continuous voter registration exercise. Here is Sadia Yakubu's report.
The acting chairman of the commission, May Agbamuche Ibu, said the meeting provides an avenue for regular engagement between INEC and political stakeholders to strengthen Nigeria's electoral process, while reviewing activities carried out so far in 2025, including the by-elections conducted across 12 states in August and preparations for the Anambra governorship election slated for November 8, 2025. The acting chairman pledged INEC's commitment to transparency, adding that weekly updates on voter registration figures are published on the Commission's website.
The Commission is committed to keeping strictly to the remaining activities as detailed in the timetable and schedule of activities. Political parties are therefore called upon to be mindful of the last day for campaigns and keep strictly to it. The Commission has been working assiduously and making arrangements for the successful conduct of the Anambra State governorship election. On
his part, the national chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, Dr. Yusuf Mamman, stressed the need for political leaders to work together in deepening democratic governance. Taylor reaffirmed IPAC's commitment to partnering with INEC in promoting peaceful, credible elections and fostering political stability across the country.
The success of the off-cycle election, this off-cycle election will set the stage for the upcoming elections in 2026, including the Federal Capital Territory Area Council polls, Osun and Ekiti State's gubernatorial elections, and the decisive 2027 general election. INEC should put its act together and get it right. With the new leadership, citizens' expectations are high, very high. The Commission should justify the confidence the nation reposed in it. This is the only way to rebuild trust in the electoral process and encourage mass participation in future polls.
As Nigeria prepares for the Anambra governorship election and other future polls, the dialogue between INEC and political parties is expected to shape reforms that will further strengthen the credibility of the electoral system. From Abuja, Sadia Yakubu, reporting for Global Television.
Federal Capital Territory Minister Nyesom Wike has assured Nigerians of better days ahead, stating that President Tinubu is working to change the country's narrative for the better. The minister gave the assurance at official commissioning of DUBU Access Road within the Federal Capital Territory. Kabir Azan has details.
The newly commissioned DUBU Access Road is part of the ongoing efforts by the Federal Capital Territory Administration to improve road networks, enhance connectivity, and ensure free flow of movement within the FCT. The Minister of the FCT at the commissioning ceremony, attended by top government officials and community leaders, reaffirmed the administration commitment to delivering quality projects that will positively impact lives, while emphasizing continuous development under the Federal Capital Territory Administration.
Nigerians will see what they have never seen before. So, all I'm pleading with all of you Nigerians, continue to be patient. We'll get to the promised land. Through Mr. President, it will be a different narrative.
He also highlighted the achievement of President Bola Tinubu's administration in restoring confidence and driving meaningful change across sectors of the economy to national development.
Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Grand Commander of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, has shown the right leadership. And that is why we're able to achieve. People are talking about the achievements we have made. It's because of the right leadership.
With several completed and ongoing projects across the territory, Wike assured that the federal government remains focused on building a better, safer, and more connected capital city for all residents. Kabir Hassan reporting for Global TV News.
The crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party (PDP) has took a new dimension at the Federal High Court in Abuja as the National Chairman Umar Damagum and the National Legal Advisor Kamaldeen Ajibade disagreed in open court. During the hearing of a suit seeking to stop the party's planned national convention instituted by 3 aggrieved members, Damagum and Ajibade battled for several minutes over who has the power to appoint a lawyer to represent the party. While Damagum, who was physically present in court, in a letter he personally signed, mandated Chris Uche, SAN, to represent PDP in the suit, Ajibade, a senior advocate of Nigeria, SAN, insisted that he was the only authority that can appoint legal representation for the party. The Federal Ministry of Education says Nigerian senior secondary school students in arts and humanities will no longer be required to present a credit in mathematics in their senior school certificate examination organized by the West African Examination Council and the National Examination Council as a condition for admission to universities and polytechnics. The ministry said the decision comes after years of admission seekers in arts and humanities, like their contemporaries in science and social sciences, have mandated to take 5 credits, including mathematics and English language, to secure admission into higher institutions. The Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, has announced plans to hold the second edition of its tax clinic in Abuja as part of efforts to expand public engagement and prepare taxpayers for a transition into the Nigerian Revenue Service, NRS. In a statement signed by Collins Osage Omokaro, Special Advisor on Communication and Advocacy to the Executive Chairman, Dr. Zach Adedeji, the agency said the initiative forms part of its ongoing reforms to simplify tax administration, promote voluntary compliance, and strengthen public trust in the revenue system. To Edo State now. Edo State Governor Monday Okpebolo has sworn in 21 new commissioners. The governor charged the new commissioners to key into his administration to prove to the world that the new Edo has risen. Governor Okpebolo also swore in chairman and members of the Edo State Bursary and Scholarship Board, the Senior Secondary Education Board, Edo State Law Reform Commission, Edo State Lottery Regulation Commission, and Edo State Ecological Funding and Management Commission. watching the live broadcast of News Circle. When News Circle returns, International Monetary Fund to launch World Economic Outlook. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please do stay with us. In business, the House of Representatives has moved to protect Nigerians from what is described as arbitrary and exploitative bank charges imposed by commercial banks across the country. This followed a motion of urgent public importance raised by Shagaya Mukhtar from Kwara State during plenary. The House therefore called on the CBN to set up an efficient and accessible complaints redress mechanism of customers affected by such charges. National Assembly correspondent Aniete Patrick reports.
Presenting the motion, Shagaya expressed concern over the growing complaints from bank customers across Nigeria about incessant, arbitrary and unexplained deductions from their accounts by commercial banks. He noted that while banks are expected to provide financial services at fair and transparent costs, many Nigerians have continued to suffer multiple deductions such as SMS alerts, charges, card and account maintenance fees, interbank transfer fees, stamp duties, and other unaccounted debits, some of which are duplicated or unjustified. Adopting the motion, the House urged the Central Bank of Nigeria to immediately publish a comprehensive and simplified list of approved bank charges and enforce strict penalties on banks found guilty of illegal deductions.
Urge the CBN to publish a comprehensive and simplified list of approved bank charges and ensure proper enforcement of penalties against banks found to be in violation.
In another development, the House of Representatives has urged the Nigerian Armed Forces, the police and other security agencies to immediately reinforce deployment and launch joint operations in Kebe and Tambuwal local government areas of Sokoto State, following renewed bandit attacks that have left scores dead, many adopted, and entire communities displaced. The call followed a motion of urgent public importance raised by Abdusamad Dasuki, representing Kebe, Tambuwal Federal Constituency of Sokoto State.
That if these attacks persist without immediate and decisive intervention, Kebe and Tambuwal may experience further humanitarian crisis, mass displacement, and deepened distrust between citizens and the state.
Meanwhile, at plenary, 3 Kaduna State PDP members of the House of Representatives defected to the ruling APC. The defectors are Abdul Karim Ahmed, representing Kaduna South Federal Constituency, Aliyu Abdullahi, representing Ikara, Kabo Federal Constituency, and Sadiq Abdullahi, representing Sabo Geri Federal Constituency. Reading their defection letters, the Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, during plenary said their defection was due to an internal crisis within the PDP. The highlight of the defection was the presence of Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani in plenary. Aniete Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
Nigeria's agricultural sector is set for a major financing boost as the European Union has approved a €190 million credit line to expand lending to farmers and agri-businesses through Nigerian Commercial Banks and Development Finance Institute. The Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Special Advisor on Media, Bolaji Adeniyi, confirmed the development in a statement. The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, has announced a 10-year scheduled maintenance exercise on its Gombe State transmission substation. The company disclosed this in a statement by its spokesperson, Ndidi Mba, said the federal government, the maintenance exercise will take effect from October 14 to 24, 2025 from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has upgraded Nigeria's economic growth projection, forecasting a 3.9% expansion in 2025 and 4.2% in 2026. The revised figures was announced during the launch of the World Economic Outlook 2025 at the ongoing World Bank and IMF annual meetings in Washington, D.C. In its July 2025 update, the IMF had projected Nigeria's growth at 3.4%, but the latest reports reflect a 0.5 percentage point increase, signaling renewed confidence in the country's reforms-driven economic recovery. Now to the foreign scene. Madagascar's President Andry Rajoelina has dissolved the National Assembly, preempting an opposition-led vote to force him out of office over the island's nation's spiraling political crisis. Rajoelina has faced over 2 weeks of deadly street clashes, led largely by young people who are demonstrating furiously about the ruling elite, forcing the 51-year-old leader into hiding. The presidency said in a statement that the decree to dissolve the assembly shall enter into full force immediately upon its publication by radio and/or television broadcast. The United Nations says that a great ceasefire between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda is not being respected. United Nations Special Envoy Yuan Xie said the international peace efforts are commendable and promising, but they have to this day not lived up to the promises. The agreed ceasefire is not being respected, while calling upon countries of the region to resume direct and frank dialogue and take all necessary measures to put an end to this war once and for all. Zenonga Mangodo, the DRC representative of the United Nations, said the cessation of hostilities, the withdrawal of Rwandan troops, and the end of the support for M23 and the restoration of Congolese state authorities overall.
From Latin America and the Caribbean have, however, been floated for the next UN chief. They include former Chilean President and former UN Rights Chief Michelle Bachelet, Prime Minister Mia Mottley of Barbados, and Mexican Environment Minister Alicia Bárcena. Rebecca Greenspan, who has been serving as Secretary General of the UN Trade and Development since 30 September 2021, is a Costa Rican economist whose only demand is a process totally devoid of discrimination.
If you look at the women that have been mentioned to be possible candidates for the SG, all of them has wonderful CVs. So you can see, from the cadre that and the group of women and names that have been mentioned, that none of us need any special treatment. What we don't want is discrimination. What this is about is not allowing discrimination, setting the agenda of who will be the next Secretary General.
Greenspan, 69, also addressed concerns relating to fears of a trade war following the policy disposition of the United States under the leadership of President Donald Trump.
The fact that we are not yet in a full-fledged trade war, because negotiations are happening, especially between the US and China. We need the US and China to really continue on a negotiated path. If that won't be possible, we will be in a very unstable environment. But if negotiations continue, and instead of a trade war, we have negotiated outcomes, we will be in a much better place.
Whoever emerges the next Secretary General of the United Nations will assume office on January 1, 2027. Uyi Agbumofwegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
In sports, now to some good news. Nigeria's hope of qualifying for the 2026 FIFA World Cup has received a major boost as the Super Eagles is defeating Benin Republic at the moment at the Godswill International Stadium 3-0. In the final Group C feature, the Super Eagles are is on the way to securing victory and hope for a favorable result. All 3 goals are scored by Victor Osimhen. Other subsequent news will be brought in our future bulletin. Barcelona has officially confirmed that an agreement has been reached with Frenkie de Jong on a new long-term contract, but a formal signaling ceremony scheduled. Fabrizio Romano on his expo said the new deal will keep the Dutch midfielder at the club until June 2029, extending his stay and solidifying his role as a key feature in Hansi Flick's squad. That's it on Global TV News Circle. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across our social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. I am Ubong Usoro. Bye for now.